What's happening, folks, in the interwebs? This is Pete from Backdraft Bikes, and this is the start of the epic motorcycle journey mini series. We're going to film a couple episodes. We're going to hit the four corners of the state of Maine. It's about 1,300 miles round trip. It's going to be awesome. Before we set out on this great journey, we had to plan the route carefully. My plan was to stay within the border of Maine all the way around the very edges or fringes of Maine. However, we ran into a problem. You see, the top third half of western Maine is this co-op called the North Maine Woods, and you can see on the map right here what it looks like. There is a problem with this because as you look at the regulations, you will notice that no bicycles, motorcycles, or AT vehicles are allowed in the North Maine Woods area, and that is because of logging. So we scrapped our original design and decided to go with a second route. Now, this second route would take us all the way to the edge of the North Maine Woods, and we would follow a very popular road down called Route 11. This is kind of like the north-south highway from the very tip of Maine through the center of the state. It looked really, really good, although I was disappointed because I really wanted to try out the Pan America on some major dirt roads. So I planned accordingly, and by Moosehead Lake, we decided to take Millinocket Road, which is a very long and winding road that follows Moose River all the way across some dirt roads. However, we ran into a problem. As we started to go around Mount Katahdin, we found that this area is also part of the North Maine Woods, and it's separately regulated. This road is also inaccessible with motorcycles. So we scrapped version number 2 and we decided to start back over. Our final revision takes us as west and north as you possibly can go on a motorcycle in the state of Maine. Coming down the same road, Route 11, and skirting the North Maine Woods, this route took us down a very nice ride called Brownville Road. Once we hit Milo, Maine, we would go through due west on Route 6 and Route 15, and then we would hook north to come to Moosehead Lake, thus avoiding the controversial dirt roads that were not accessible to motorcycles. From here, we would do a little north-south jogging to hit the major towns up here, such as Jackman and Eustis. From Eustis, we would go south through Jackman and eventually make our way over to the Rangeley Lakes area, hugging the western border and coming back down to Mowsam Lake. This was our route. We were settled and ready to go. So to start out the trip, we want to think about what's required. So I figured I'd start in my garage with this and just kind of show you what I'm doing to my bike to make sure it's ready. 2021 Pan America Harley Davidson, brand new model. So this is really going to be the inaugural run for this. I've got 1,600 miles on it right now, so we're looking to double that just about with this new trip. What I've done already is I fitted this with some hard cases, and I have some of my luggage up here, and I'll just go through what I'm using for luggage. I've got my Thermarest mattress. I've got my small tent. I'm using my Craiga dry bag for my suitcase, if you will. That's got all my clothes in it. And then over here, I've got a tarp and a camp chair. Now, I don't have anything in these compartments yet because, ta-da, we've got everything over here. We're going to go through with you what everything is. So just the essentials is what we're bringing, obviously, but I'm bringing some tools. This is a toolkit. I got flat repair. There's a lot of dirt roads we're going to be on. And there's a small compressor in there as well. I have some food. I am using my DeWalt batteries and these USB chargers that you can buy to power my camera equipment. I'm bringing my butane torch These are amazing for starting fires, but also in the field, heating stuff up to repair. I'm bringing my drone with me. I've got a liner for my jacket in case it gets cold. I've got a fairly large water bottle and then a small flask with unknown liquid inside of it. Yum. I got some bedding, just the other essentials. A hatchet to fend off wild bears. Toilet paper, if nature calls. I always bring a couple plastic bags with me. You never know how those will be in. Got some bungees. Yeah, that's about it. So we've got these goods. We're gonna pack them up in the back of the trunk here on the bike, and we're gonna rock and roll. Tomorrow morning, we're leaving at dark 30. Here we go, starting out. We're at Booney's store, bub. Booney's. Yes, yeah. Just getting some gas before we hit the road. Just gassed up and we're on our way. Coincidentally, my playlist is stuck on Purple Rain by Prince. It's gonna be an interesting trip, isn't it?
Smoking Harry's, what's this comment? His feet on his hog. Wow.
We've started our journey. I'm being followed by a good friend of mine riding the Grandpa Deluxe 5000 Honda Goldwing. They say once you drive a Goldwing, you won't drive anything else. It's probably because you're too old and you can't walk. All right, I'll be kind. So welcome to Springvale, which is a village of Sanford, Maine. We're going down to hit Kittery first, and then we're going to drive north on Route 1/95. This town here, because we're starting and doing the loop, is an old mill town. There's some big mills here. This was a textile center of southern Maine. Really big part of World War I because they made blankets for the soldiers. That was the big thing. So they retooled some of their equipment, and they also made shoes. Of course, everything kind of closed down after a while. But it's still a little quaint little village. Fabulous downtown North Berwick. Don't blink, you might miss it. Here is Berwick, and this is a very famous golf course, the Links at Outlook. Beautiful old country club. I hear they have a fabulous 19th hole. Welcome to downtown South Berwick, another classic Maine town. This town's quite old. They pride itself in not having a stoplight. So this old chap has to stand out here every morning. How are we doing today? Friendly little fella. Welcome to Kittery, Bob. Kittery is one of the most southern towns in Maine. It's right on the border of Maine and New Hampshire. It's home to the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard, one of the oldest shipbuilding facilities in New England. They work on submarines. A lot of people work there from the local communities. Kittery is also quite the fishing village. There's a lot of fishermen that come here. There's a lot of boat service shops and such. So it's kind of a neat little area. The old section of the town is rather quaint and congested. But we're coming to our first of the four corners right up here, and that is the Kittery Trading Post. Okay, first of the four corners of Maine, Kittery Trading Post. Real famous outpost, if you will. It's been open since the 30s. They have a humongous fishing section, archery section, rifle section, you name it, they got it here. It's massive. And it's a pretty fun place to go spend money. Every time I go in there, no matter what I have in my wallet, it ends up leaving. All right, off. So we're gonna bypass part of Route 1 just because of the construction right now is quite bad from what I've been told. And we're trying to beat the rain. It's supposed to rain 2 inches tomorrow. So we really want to try to get that. So we're actually gonna get on the Great Slab, 95 north. Even I-95 isn't too bad in Maine. A lot of tourists come up. This is the gateway. But it's not that crowded, and it is a nice ride. Now, in recent years, they actually added a third lane here. I-95 used to only be 2 lanes the entire way, and now they've updated it to 3 lanes up until Portland. North of Portland-ish, they go back down to 2 lanes, and it stays that way the entire time where it ends. Which we're going, so you'll see us up there. Beautiful day out today though, couldn't ask for better temperatures. It's currently 68 degrees, slightly cloudy, so the sun isn't too hot, just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Kennebunk and Kennebunk Port Bub. Right coming through Kennebunk is the East Coast Greenway, the Eastern Trail. A lot of people know that place. We're going right above our head right now. That's that hiking trail you can go from east to west on, and it starts right over here by the ocean. So it's kind of a cool trail if you ever go on it. You can't drive motorcycles on it, but you can ride bikes and walk, and it's quite scenic. Now, a lot of people ask, why do I like Maine? Well, I was born up here, and my dad was in the Navy for a while, so we moved around a little bit here and there, but ultimately I was raised in Maine, and I've traveled a lot for work myself. I've lived outside of the state for a while, and you know, why I keep coming back is the scenery and the people and the change of seasons. I've done a lot of work down in Florida. You get hot and very hot. I've been in other areas, you know, in the wintertime it's just gray and dreary and rainy, and you know, Maine, you get the whole spectrum. You get a beautiful summertime that lasts like 2 weeks. Then you get mud season, and then you get winter. I figured we'd get off the highway just for a second, take a quick little detour to show you downtown Portland, because what's a tour of Maine without at least going through the biggest city in the state? This is the south end of Portland, where the ships come in. They do a lot of cargo. Kind of cool. A lot of salt comes in here, coal comes in here. We've got the 2 hospitals that service most of Maine. And then this area over here that we're going down onto is actually what they call the Old Port. And it's the old section of Portland And it's still quite the working waterfront. There's a lot of fishermen, again, that come in here, lobstermen. It is, from what I've been told, it's the winter port for Montreal when the river freezes. Of course, for petroleum delivery, it's a big deal here as well. If I had smell-o-vision on right now, you could smell the delicious seafood aroma. Why did the cod cross the road to get to the other tide? Pretty good, Bob, pretty good. So these are all the lobstering places. The ships come in, bring their catches in. This is called Commercial Street. It's a very popular street. In the summertime, it's quite busy. That's the famous Becky's Diner, or as they say up here, nothing's finer than Becky's Diner. It's quite popular. Of course, some of the old buildings have been replaced with new, but they've kept the architecture similar. The old mercantile facilities over here everyone would come to, bring in the goods from the sea and market them here. The old cobblestone streets in this area are still quite active and used. Smoking Harry's a Grandpa 5000. There he is. There's Long Wharf. That's a very popular wharf. There's a restaurant at the end of it you can eat. It's actually an old ferry. It's called the Millows Restaurant. Very popular. See the sign right here for it. They were originally going to operate it as a boat and drive around and do stuff, and the guy just said, you know what, we're just going to leave it right here, and it's been there ever since. It's been there for many, many years. Very famous. Of course, Commercial Street borders where the Portland Armory used to be, over on the left. There's the Federal Building, Customs House. They're beautiful. Of course, look down some of these side streets, you'll see these are all wharves in here. Very, very popular waterfront. Bro, you can barely reach the ground. Here's another famous landmark coming up here. This is the Route 1 Indian. This has been here forever. It used to be a clothing store. I'm glad they haven't taken it down. I like that thing. It's cool. Maine has a huge history of Native Americans. Just massive amounts of history on them. Downtown Freeport. This is a very famous little village, but there ain't nothing free about Freeport, let me tell you. There's some outlets and different things built in the old buildings, which is kind of cool. But the reason why this is most famous is this store right here on the left. This is the original LL Bean coming up here. And you'll see there's a big boot and a bunch of different things. There it is. All these buildings here are LL Bean. Their corporate offices are located in this town as well. And there it is if you've never seen it. Pretty good store. Of course, we all like LL Bean. Here's one thing that's kind of interesting though about LL Bean in Maine. You know, whenever you return something to LL Bean and it doesn't perform correctly, or maybe it wasn't the right size or whatever, they will donate it to the secondhand store Goodwill. You've probably heard of that store before, Goodwill. And what's amazing is if you go to Goodwill's up here in Maine, you will find nearly new LL Bean merchandise for $1 or $2. I bought a ski jacket one time for like $15. I looked it up on the catalog and it was like a $350 jacket. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. Little perk of being in Maine. Get to support a good cause, but get some excellent deals on clothing. Freeport's another quintessential coastal town in Maine. There's really two Maines, as they say. There's the coastal and then there's the mountainous, and we're going to be covering all of those. Kind of an interesting thing with Freeport and these coastal communities is they're very resistive to change. So you don't see a lot of chain restaurants and fast food joints in these places at all. In fact, we kind of joke around about Mexican food up here because there isn't a lot. But there are like 4 or 5 Taco Bells in the whole state. There's not a lot. So here's the city of Bath, Maine. Pretty cool place. This is Bath Iron Works over here. They build a lot of ships for the Navy. But Bath is a super historical town when it comes to shipbuilding. They've done it for years. So you can see over there some of the new fancy ships they're building that look like trapezoid pyramid things. And other stuff they're working on. This is inland just a little ways on this river. It's still salt water and tidal, but it's deep enough that they can build ships in here, and it's safe enough from the storms that come from the ocean. So it's a very nice harbor, but Bath has a huge legacy for building ships. They were turning out these massive schooners in the 1800s for merchants and all types of stuff. It's kind of cool. Maine Maritime Museum, definitely a bucket list item if you like history and ships. I would recommend going there, taking a tour. And that's the Taste of Maine restaurant. That's a wicked famous restaurant up here for seafood. They usually have a gigantic lobster on the roof. Again, there's some of those tidal waters that come in. Excellent for clamming. Welcome to Wiscasset, Bob. Wiscasset was home to Maine Yankee, which was a nuclear power plant they decommissioned, but they left all the garbage behind, so it's still pretty bad. It's in right on the ocean. Downtown Wiscasset. It's kind of crazy. But again, yet another old coastal village in Maine. Some beautiful old houses around here overlooking the ocean. The ocean's just right over there. Here's a staple of Maine right here, Bob. Moody's Diner. You come up Route 1 and you don't stop there, then I'll smack your mother. Darcy wanted to take 90 over to skip historic Rockland. I said, we're doing a Route 1 trip up the coast, Bob. Bye. We don't need to take no highway situation to skip the good stuff. Come on now. He's also, just to give you an idea about my buddy Grandpa 5000, he's also got a bottle of Coke strapped in his, it appears to be a fishing jacket he's wearing. But we love him. We love him. This is Thomaston, Maine, another city on the coast. This used to be home to the state prison. That was like the big thing. And now it's not here anymore. And I don't even know what they did with the old building, but it's a pretty cool old town. You can see the main street here. Very historic. A lot of shops, little things, beautiful. Nice little Triumph Thruxton. The old Knox mansion up there. Fort Knox is right up here. you're gonna see it. There's a big bridge we go over in a little bit, and it's a very famous setup. Grandpa, you can't handle it. You can't handle it. Downtown Rockland, Maine. Beautiful little city. Smells like salt water, a little fishy. Ocean's right over there. Very beautiful downtown. I like this downtown area. This is Camden, Maine. Another one of those early shipbuilding towns. This one's also very old. Lots of neat architecture, old structures, and touristy traffic from everywhere. My 1250 is rather toasty right at the moment. Waterfronts right there. Some pretty cool boats dock down there sometimes. Stinking tourists. Oh my word, people. It's like we'll just stop for everybody. Hawthorne. We're gonna go up. This is Camden Hill State Park. This is kind of a cool ride. Goes up to the top and you can check out a beautiful view of Camden. This is a beautiful auto road. A lot of these auto roads you go up are pretty bad. Even the Mount Washington auto road gets hairy in a few spots where it turns to dirt. This road's pretty good. A little bumpy, but not bad at all. Here we are. Grandpa 5000, how you holding up?
Hey! I ain't even got into 6th gear yet.
Really? This is Lincolnville. Smaller town, but nonetheless pretty cool. Got a neat little beach, the Lincolnville beach. Funny fact about Maine, the water never really gets that warm. Not like Florida or the Carolinas. It stays pretty chilly the whole year round, but it's pretty cold. So usually you jump in and you jump out, you feel a lot better. Kids stay in until their lips turn blue and the parents have to tell them to get out. They got a pretty large yacht facility over there, and the tall ships come in right over there. Super cool to come to when they're here. Very nice. Belfast, out of all of the town communities, probably my favorite. One of my close friends lived here for many, many years till he passed away. We used to spend a lot of time coming up talking about motorcycles and trips to Baja, dreams of tomorrow. Boy, if he was alive right now and he knew I bought a Harley, I almost forgot. When you're in Belfast, you got to stop by Perry's Nut House. Perry's Nut House. It's a pretty famous tourist trap for sure. Searsport. Now this is a lower class, less dollar working sea area from long ago. This was a maritime town where people really worked hard to make a living. You can see the houses here are older, but they're not as grandiose as the other towns we've gone through. Again, this was a working town. This is where people worked. They earned a living out of the sea, and it still exists today. There's a harbor where the fishermen come in. Again, lobster is big. This is the lobster trail up here. But there are a few really nice houses. This one right here is absolutely gorgeous. Victorian detail. Yes, Victorian detail, darling. Yes. Absolutely stunning approach to it too. Fort Knox, not the one they keep the gold at, a little different. This was a Civil War style battery. There's an elevator that goes all the way to the top of one of the towers. It's quite high. Pretty sweet, Bob, pretty sweet. Wild blueberry fields here. And Maine is full of these as you go up the coast and inland just a little bit. In the fall, they're all red. They're beautiful. Maine is the largest exporter of wild blueberries in the world. So the wild blueberries that Maine sells is quite the crop. They're also the largest exporter of lobster. Of course, you probably already figured that one out because that's what everybody says when they say, oh, you're from Maine? Lobster. But the blueberries are in season right now. They're picking them. There's a lot of these roadside stands selling them. And they're delicious. The wild blueberries are smaller, but are very potent in their flavor. All right, this is downtown Ellsworth. This is another, almost to the top of these classic port cities in Maine. Getting close to Acadia National Park. You've probably seen that before. Welcome to Lubec, Bob. Most eastern point in the U.S. Canada. Welcome to Lubec, Bob. We are right on the tip of Maine, into Canada almost. Border is still closed due to this virus COVID thing. Unfortunately, it'd be super fun to shoot across, but everything is closed down. So we'll do what we can, and we'll go right to the edge. We made it. That is the Lubec post office behind me, and that is my bike. Episode 2, join us as we drive on some dirt roads, put up with hydrating the animal, set up a tent in complete darkness, and fly a drone over some wheat fields. It's going to be wicked awesome. We hope you'll join us.